meeting started. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Prince?
Here.
Mr. Person?
Here.
Ms. Witchy?
Here.
Mr. McGurven? Ms. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Bavoni?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor. One absent.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move we excuse the absent council member.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that we excuse Councilmember McGurven. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. First item on the agenda is a proclamation.
Okay, this proclamation is for Home Fire Sprinkler Day. Whereas the effects of home fires are far-reaching and long-standing, and a home fire can become deadly in less than 2 minutes due to today's construction materials and common synthetic furnishings producing toxic smoke. And whereas homes should be the place where our residents feel safe, but in reality, home is where they can have the greatest risk of injury or death from fire. And whereas home fires put our firefighters at risk through exposure that can lead to health issues. And whereas combined with working smoke alarms and proper fire escape planning, fire sprinklers in homes can and do make a difference in our community. And whereas by taking part in a National Day of Action, we recognize that protecting homes with fire sprinklers will make the future safer for our residents, first responders, and our community for generations to come. Now therefore, I, Dennis Law, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim May 19th, 2018 to be Home Fire Sprinkler Day in the City of Renton in recognition of the effectiveness fire sprinklers have in stopping the spread of fire and saving lives within our community. I encourage all citizens to join me in this special observance. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 14th day of May 2018, and this is signed by Mayor Dennis Law.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move the proclamation be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Corman, that this proclamation be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And we're happy to present this proclamation to Fire Chief Rick Marshall. You guys have to look over and get a picture taken here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate you supporting us in this endeavor. A couple of things. I was just reading in the news this morning. There's a fire news thing that comes out, and in there they highlighted a fire that just occurred this weekend in Greensboro, North Carolina, in which, in a duplex, 5 children ranging from the ages of 18 to 8 years old lost their life in a non-sprinklered residence. And I'd like to compare that to a fire that we had in Renton just a couple of weeks ago at a senior living facility in which we have many, many residents there that have mobility issues. That fire was kept in check by a sprinkler system, and we had no injuries to either the residents there or to any of the responding firefighters, with the minimal amount of damage. That is one of 2 fires that we've had in the last couple of weeks in which the mobility issues would have very likely led to serious injury or fatality fires, which makes believers out of us, certainly, that fire sprinklers work. A couple of statistics for you, that 85% of all fire deaths occur within single-family residences, people's residence. And fire sprinklers have proven to reduce the chance of dying in a fire by 80%, and they've also been proven to reduce the amount of property damage by 70% with fire. And one of the challenges that we face is with modern construction. And when I started here 34 years ago, we would see fires that would occur in a structure. Someone would call 911, and we would get there, and we would be battling what we call a room and contents fire. So basically, the one room and the contents in that room, we would go in there through the house, and we'd put water on the fire, and the fire would go out. Now what we see, and we've seen a few examples of that over the last couple of years, where not only do we have homes being built much closer together, but we also have much different materials being used, synthetic materials that burn at a much, much faster rate. In fact, there is the United Laboratories, UL, did a study, and they found they took a legacy home and a modern home and put them side by side. A modern home will reach flashover, which is where everything in that room is catches on fire. It's insurvivable, not just for residents there, but for firefighters, even with their protective gear. That will occur in 3 minutes and 40 seconds in these newer homes that we're seeing, whereas before, 30 years ago, it would take almost 30 minutes to happen, so almost 10 times faster. And sprinkler systems are what helps turn the corner on that. Obviously, we shoot to get to a fire in less than 7 minutes, and these fires turn fatal within 2 to 3 minutes. So fire sprinklers allow us the ability to get there, allow people to get out, and for us to keep the fire in check so we can get there to minimize damage. So thank you very much for your support.
You bet. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you being here. Okay, moving on to administrative report. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 items to report to the City Council this evening. The first, recently approved by City Council, this weekend was the first of the Renton Police Department's illegal street racing emphasis by using road closures. On Friday night, there were 8 additional officers working the emphasis and 5 officers on Saturday. There was no racing activity that occurred in Renton and no issues with local businesses due to the road closures. The scene was described by one individual as a ghost town in prior hotspots. In debriefs with the emphasis team and Commander Karlowitz, all agreed the street closures and media campaign were very successful. The officers assigned to the emphasis assisted Kent PD in addition that evening, just across the border, who made 20 arrests on Friday night. Renton PD will continue the weekend emphasis throughout the summer, and next week they should receive some additional signage, trailer, and cones, so they'll be able to be more autonomous without the need of support from the Public Works Department. So that decision, first time out, looks like it was pretty successful. The second item is yesterday marked the beginning of National Police Week. In 1962, President John Kennedy signed into law that May 15th was National Peace Officers Day. The week that May 15th fell in would ultimately become Police Week. This event takes place in Washington, D.C., and will draw law enforcement officers from all over the world. The week usually draws around 25,000 to 40,000 participants, with the actual memorial service taking place on May 15th. This year, 1 law enforcement officer from Washington State will be mentioned in the roll call at the ceremony as they remember the fallen from 2017. Chief Gibson served the Kalama Police Department and passed away in January of 2017. In 2018 to date, Washington State has lost 1 law enforcement officer. From the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, nationwide to date, 53 officers have lost their lives serving their communities. Obviously, there are many ways to support your local law enforcement during this week, but one of the best ways may be just, if you see them, recognize them and thank them for their support and the hard work, dangerous work that they do sometimes. That's it.
Great, thank you, Bob. Okay, moving on to audience comments. We have a couple people signed up to address the council. When I call your name, please come to the podium, give your name and city of residence for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Jeff Kelly.
Hello, my name is Jeff Kelly. I'm a resident of the city of Renton, and today I would like to make you aware of a quality of life issue that impacts an almost 7 square mile area of the city, where we have tens of thousands of families and a significant number of businesses located. The issue is that we don't have any parks in that area. It starts at Southeast 164th Street and goes south to the city limit at Southeast 200th. East-west, it's from city line to city line. It's almost 7 square miles. In this area, you have lots of multifamily housing. You have lots of growth in that multifamily housing. You have lots of businesses going in. This is the area down near Valley Medical Center, Carr Road, Petrovisky. Fortunately, the city owns a significantly sized piece of property along Carr Road, Southeast Carr Road there by Fred Meyer and by the hospital. And so this piece of property presents an opportunity for the city to create a park that is of a size that could service this area of Renton. Very soon you'll have a report from the Community Advisory Committee that is focused on parks, and I would hope that as you consider that report, you think about this almost 7 square mile area that does not have any parks, and that you also think about that as you think about what is important to your voters in the next 12 to 18 months. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you. Next is Diane Dobson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Diane Dobson, City of Renton, come to you tonight with a plethora of hats on, announcing different activities that are taking place in the city. I heard tonight at the Committee of the Whole meeting about 3 community cleanups. We're eager and excited for the collaboration by the city with the downtown businesses in partnership. There are dates, and I'll throw them out there so they're of record. The May 19th date that's coming up this weekend is the cleanup with the stormtroopers. Great opportunity to get kids involved in civic involvement. There will be costume stormtroopers that make picking up litter and garbage fun. May 20th, there's a North Renton neighborhood cleanup. June 2nd is the Renton Downtown Partnership cleanup. That is a scavenger hunt cleanup that will be departing from Sparkle. On July 7th, there is the other chamber stormtrooper cleanup. On August 19th, there is the North Renton Neighborhood and Renton Downtown Partnership, another scavenger hunt cleanup. And September 8th, and that is the South Renton Connection and Chamber and Renton Downtown Partnership cleanup. So there's a number of cleanups that were not announced tonight that I wanted to make sure you were aware of. In addition, the Renton Chamber of Commerce is doing a blood drive on Monday, May 21st. We're encouraging downtown businesses and employees to take part in that and donate. That's between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. at the Chamber of Commerce. On May 23rd, there's an event that many of you have been nominated for, and congratulations on your nomination. That is a partnership between the Renton Reporter newspapers and the Renton Chamber of Commerce, and it is recognizing the Business Excellent Awards and the Best of Renton. So like I said, there's a number of you that have been nominated for the Best of Renton elected official, and would love to see you all there. Ms. Perez, I know you have travel plans, and this is the first year you'll be missing. Finally, June 8th, there is a Renton Downtown Partnership and Renton Chamber of Commerce Wine Walk. And I bring it to your attention. I'm sure you're all very well aware of the event. Tickets are selling out fast. We have a limited number at 550. I'm sure there's people here that would like to take part. I know some of you missed out on the opportunity to buy tickets last year. So I bring it to your attention. I think we've sold over 400 tickets at this point, so a sellout is assured. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, we have 9 items for council consideration. Are there any items a council member would like pulled for discussion?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Witchy.
Yes, I request that item 6I be removed for separate consideration.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince.
I move we approve the consent agenda minus item I.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, seconded by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the consent agenda minus item I. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Ms. Witchy.
Yes, we've been working on this contract for quite some time and have obtained a grant from the King County Flood Control District. And since council has already approved the grant and the agreement between the city and the Flood Control District, we wanted to move the project forward. And the grant requires that we complete the work by the end of the year. So therefore, I move that item 6I be approved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Ms. Witchy, seconded by Mr. Corman, that item I of the consent agenda be approved. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, let's see, unfinished business, Mr. Prince.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Person.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, a little bit of unfinished finance business.
Okay, the first Finance Committee report is regarding approval of claims and payroll vouchers. The Finance Committee approves the following payments. Accounts payable, total payment of $4,980,314.08 for vouchers 10062, 10065 through 10070, 364906 through 364912, 364914 through 364917, 364932 through 365280, and 365211 through 365225. Payroll benefit withholding vouchers 5794 through 5804, and 364918 through 364931, and 5 wire transfers. Payroll, total payment of $1,377,960.31 for payroll vouchers, which includes 660 direct deposits and 10 checks, April 1st through 15th of 2018 pay period. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the council concur in recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
The next Finance Committee report is regarding bad debt write-off. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize council to write off bad debt in the amount of $36,436.64 and remove from city's accounting records. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This is always the one that I don't like, because I think I pay my water bill, everybody else should. Unfortunately, this is been a long time coming, so it's not quite as bad if you look at it, but it's about 2 years backlog of bills. And most of these have all been excused by the bankruptcy court. And in cases where there's still property, the city does file liens on them. So like I say, not something we like to do, but it's best to get them off the books. So with that, I move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second?
It's been moved by
Second.
Mr. Person, second by Mr. Pavoni, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, the third Finance Committee report is regarding a request to overfill water utility instrumentations SCADA technician position for 2 months. Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the request to overfill the water utility instrumentations SCADA technician position for training purposes for 2 months, from June 1st to August 3rd, 2018. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
one of our favorite employees, Kevin McQuiller, is retiring in August. And he really has done a good job with our computer system of, especially the alarming. If an alarm goes off in the middle of the night, the right people get a telephone call. But he's decided to retire, and we're having a hard time finding somebody, and we want to get somebody in that position, at least 2 months to work with him, with Kevin, so he can be well-trained, and we still have good protection for our water system. So with that, I move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We haven't accepted his resignation yet.
You know, I'm going to have a talk with him.
Yeah, that'd be good. Well, you have to talk to Norma.
Well, we got to talk to Norm. We got to go to Ocean Shores to
Well,
do that, though.
Okay, the fourth Finance Committee report is regarding compensating Althea Bradshaw as a construction inspector at Step E of Grade A21. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize staff to compensate Althea Bradshaw as a construction inspector at Step E of Grade A21, effective May 16th, 2018. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Person.
This is a highly qualified person, and she actually retired from the city of Seattle and moved to Florida and decided she didn't like retirement, so she wants to come back to work, and we're lucky to have her, so I move that the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second?
It's been moved by Mr. Person, second by Ms. Perez, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, and the final Finance Committee report is regarding the Senior Center ESCO payment. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the payment to Sunset Air in the amount of $262,768.10. This includes retainage in the amount of $9,030.14 that was inadvertently left off of the original agenda bill for the purpose of an energy audit and replacement of lighting and obsolete kitchen equipment, and approval of payment to the Department of Enterprise Services in the amount of $23,800 for conservation project management for this project at the Renton Senior Center. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Person.
I move the council concur in the recommendation of the Finance Committee.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Person, second by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, thank you, Don. Ms. Witchy?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the Utilities Committee has one committee report.
This committee report is regarding the design of fiber optic system for Kennydale Fire Station 15 and water reservoir agreement with Transpo Group USA, Inc. The Utilities Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to execute the agreement with Transpo Group USA Incorporated in the amount of $134,154.74 for the design of the fiber optic system for Kennydale Fire Station and the water reservoir. This is signed by the committee chair and vice chair.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Witchy?
I move that council concur with the recommendation of the Utilities Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Witchy, second by Mr. Corman, that council concur with the Utilities Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
That is all.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Perez?
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Pavoni?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do not have any unfinished business, but I will be, Mr. McGurven is out of town, so
Okay,
ready
so
for planning and development.
this Planning and Development Committee report is regarding City Center Community Plan Amendment. The Planning and Development Committee concurs with the Staff and Planning Commission recommendation to amend Implementation Strategy 8.3 of the City Center Community Plan to state that only publicly owned property would be used for a greenway promenade, and to identify priorities of the public if the greenway promenade is initiated as a work program. The Planning and Development Committee further recommends that a resolution regarding the amendment be prepared and presented for first reading when it is complete. And this is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Pavoni?
I move that the council concur with the recommendation of the Planning and Development Committee.
Second.
Been moved by Mr. Pavoni, second by Ms. Witchy, that council concur with the Planning and Development Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, Mr. Corman?
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moving on to legislation, we have one resolution tonight.
This is a resolution of the City of Renton, Washington, declaring an emergency for the purposes of replacing and repairing a traffic signal pole.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Prince?
I move the resolution be adopted as read.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Ms. Witchy, that this resolution be adopted as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to new business, Mr. Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on Monday, May 21st at 5:30 PM, the Committee of the Whole will meet in the council chambers. We have two items on the agenda. Initial 2019-2020 budget discussion and the Sunset Multi-Service and Career Development Center. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Person?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Witchy?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Ms. Perez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, May 21st at 5 p.m., the Community Service Committee will meet in the council conference room. We have two items in the agenda. One is park planning update, and the second one will be emerging issues in community services. That will be it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pavoni?
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and Mr. Corman?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The Transportation Committee will meet on May 21st. That's a Monday at 4:00 PM in the council conference room. We actually have 7 items on that agenda, so we'll have to step through them pretty efficiently. One is Williams Wells Conversion Project Design Supplemental Agreement, KPG. Second item is Park Avenue North Extension Design Supplemental Agreement, PERTET. Third item is interlocal agreement with Washington State Department of Transportation for mitigation of impacts due to the May Creek Trail project. Fourth item is temporary total closure of Northeast 31st Street. Fifth item, temporary total closure of North 27th Place. Sixth item is regional transit planning discussion, and seventh item is the emerging issues in transportation. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
You sure you don't want another hour?
I was wondering, we may have to take 6 and 7 on to another meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, what's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Prince, second by Mr. Pavoni, that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.